Hello everyone, Cindy here with Monarch Mom DIY. Thank you so much for joining me today on my channel where I love to bring you the best tips and tools to inspire you to create beautiful home decor on a budget. I'm very excited about today's video. In today's video, I am changing over my tiered tray house to a bee theme. So I'm going to show you, I believe it's 9 different little projects you can make to decorate a tiered tray for summer. So with all that being said, let's get crafting. For today's first DIY, we're going to change out the 4 wood blocks in the center of our house. These we're going to use some Honeycomb scrapbook paper and the poster sticker letters again from Dollar Tree. So the first thing I'm doing on just the front face of the blocks, because I've used the other sides for other themes, is I'm going to give each of the blocks just a single coat of white Waverly chalk paint. This is going to be our base coat that then we're going to Mod Podge the scrapbook paper on. So once we have those painted, we'll let those dry while we cut some pieces of this scrapbook paper. The cubes measure about 2¼ inches on either side. So we're going to cut our scrapbook paper to 2 inches square. So you'll need 4 pieces of those. You can get out of this 6x6 piece of paper, you could get 9 of these little squares, but we only need 4. So once we have those, and this is the paper pack, they are from Honey Flower from Temu. Next, I'm going to put a little bit of Mod Podge on the front of each of my cubes, spread that out evenly with a paintbrush, and then we will stick down our little square of scrapbook paper onto each block. Once the paper is dry, we'll now take our poster sticker letters, and I'm using the letters to spell the word buzz. I thought this would be cute for a bee theme. So I'm just centering each of the sticker letters on the square of scrapbook paper, and then we'll put another little layer of Mod Podge over the top just to make sure the sticker letters don't peel off. And that's all there is to it for this project. You can see those 2 crates I have in the center of my house, perfect for holding 4 of these cubes to spell whatever you'd like. And our second DIY for our tiered tray house is a faux bookstack. I make these with the small wood crates from Dollar Tree, some chalk paint, some ribbon, and a stencil we're going to use for the words. Now I use painter's tape for this. It really is the easiest way to mark off each of the sections of the crates. You can see I have that going around the top there. Well, it's actually the bottom of the crate, but I'm using it as the top, and we're going to use maize chalk paint to paint the entire top of our book stack and that first section going all the way around. Next, we'll tape off the bottom section, and this one we're going to use our white chalk paint, painting this section all the way around as well. Then once our yellow and white chalk paint are completely dry, we will tape those off so that we can paint the center section of our crate with our black chalk paint. Now that our 3 sections of our book stack are painted and dried, I'm taking this little stencil that says Be Beautiful, and I'm actually going to use the 3 sections of the word that they have there. I'm going to use black chalk paste to do B on our yellow book. Then I'm going to also use black chalk paste to do the tiffle on the bottom book, or the white one. And then we'll come back with some white chalk paste to do the word You on our middle black book. And I just love this way of using a stencil in a different way, and I love how it turned out. Now I'm going to cut another piece of scrapbook paper from that honey flower pack from Temu. I liked this white with the black sketches of bees. I'm cutting it just a little bit smaller than the top of my crate so I can Mod Podge this on. Again, spreading out some Mod Podge, and then we'll stick that paper down, put another layer of Mod Podge over top to make sure it stays nice and secure. To finish off our book stack, I'm going to glue an end of jute twine inside the crate, and then we're going to wrap it around the left side of our crate a few times before we glue the other end on the inside. This just gives a little more farmhouse look and interest to our faux book stack. Lastly, I'm just going to make a bow out of this black and white gingham ribbon from Dollar Tree. We'll glue this onto the top of the jute twine and then also add a small yellow daisy flower from Temu to finish it off. If you're stopping by my channel for the first time today, welcome. I'm so glad that you found me. I hope you'll consider sticking around by hitting that subscribe button. If you are a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for continuing to support me and my channel. I hope everyone will take a moment to tap that bell icon. Just make sure that your notifications are set to all, so YouTube should let you know each time I upload a new video or go live here on my channel. For DIY number 3, we're going to make a really simple bee skep. These are really super cute. I'm using this cloche dome from Dollar Tree and almost 2 full packs of nautical rope. So once I remove the sticker, which thankfully came off really easily, I'm pretty much just using the clear plastic part of this. I'm not using the black bottom. I just wanted this shape. So very simply, I'm just going to use hot glue, and starting at the base of the dome, we're going to just put some hot glue along and just continue wrapping it with our nautical rope. So like I said, we'll start all the way around the bottom, and then we'll just keep working our way up to the top. And once you get to the very top, you will want to add a little bit of extra glue on the inside, trim your rope, and then I did put some glue on top and just kind of spread it down with my little spatula. Now I wanted to make the little loop, so taking some more of my rope, I'm kind of making a loop and gluing the end onto the main part there, and then I'm going to trim it and we're going to glue it onto the top of our dome or our bee skep. Then once that is completely secure and the glue is all dried, we're going to take some black chalk paint and we're going to paint a black circle on the front, kind of towards the bottom, but not all the way at the bottom. I just freehanded this, and it's okay if it's not a perfect circle because we are going to glue some more rope around the circle to be the opening of the bee skep. While our paint is drying, I thought it would be cute to add a little messy bow to the top. So I'm going to use 2 pieces of this honeycomb ribbon, I believe was from Dollar Tree. We're going to cut 2 lengths and dovetail the edges. I did make these a little bit longer than the next set of ribbon, just so they're layered a little bit and stand out from each other. For my second 2 pieces, I'm using this black with white polka dot. It actually just used up the rest of what I had, and we're going to do the same thing, cut 2 lengths and dovetail the ends as well. Then we will tie our bow together with a thin piece of jute twine, and I am going to leave the extra lengths of the twine to be able to tie this bow around the loop that we glued on the top of the bee skep. This way I don't have to glue it on, I can just tie it around that loop. And now that the black paint is dry, we'll just take some hot glue and go around with the circle and glue some more of the nautical rope around that opening. And this is finished and so easy and adorable to make. If you had some of the little wood bees, you could glue those on here as well. For DIY number 4, we're going to make a cute little house and just cover it with some of this adorable bee fabric that I found at Dollar Tree. I'm using a house that I found probably last summer at Target Dollar Spot. Now, in order to cut my fabric, I measured the front of my little house, the width and then the height up to the peak. I cut a piece of cardstock that size. Now I'm folding it in half to show where the peak is going to be. And then you'll see I'm going to fold down the left and right corners to try and get my cardstock to match the shape of the house. This is what I'm going to do, and then trace this on the front of my fabric to be able to get my fabric to fit. This was just the easiest way for me to be able to do this. So then I just found the picture that I wanted on the front of my little house, and that's where I'm going to trace my cardstock, and then we'll cut that out. And that method seemed to work pretty well. This matched up pretty good. And now I'm just going to put a little bit of Mod Podge on the front of the house, and we'll stick that fabric down and let it dry completely. Then once our fabric was dry, I did decide to paint the roof of the house black just to have it match the color scheme of the other projects a little bit better. So I'm just doing the two flat, larger sides, and then I am going to do the little edges around the front and the two sides. And of course, to finish this off, we needed another black and white gingham bow. So I'm just tying that and then gluing it at the top on the two sides of the roof. For a complete list of all of the tools and supplies I've used in today's projects, open up the description box below the title of this video. There you will find links to my Amazon storefront, my Magnolia Design Co website, and a list for each project of the tools and supplies I've used. For DIY number 5, we're going to make this hexagon shaped shelf sitter using one of these wood hexagons from Michaels, some white chalk paint, and another stencil from Magnolia. So the first thing you have to do with this, because I wanted to use the back side, I needed to remove the two little screws and the hanger and also the jute twine as best I could. Then I'm just going to use my little sander and even all of that out. And plus I am going to sand lightly the whole back side of our hexagon just to get it nice and smooth. Then we'll take our white Waverly chalk paint, we'll give one good coat onto the back and all 6 pieces of the side edge. Once that paint is dry, I am going to lightly sand again just to make sure our surface is nice and smooth. For our stencil, we'll sand it. We'll take a little paper towel and wipe off any of that excess dust from sanding. Now I'm going to use this stencil. It's super cute. This is from our new Honeybee Quads. It's just a sunflower with a bee on it. And I'm just trying to get this as centered as possible on our hexagon. And then I'm going to use daffodil. For the sunflower, I'm going to use chocolate brown for the inside, and I'm going to use black for our bee. And here's our peel and reveal. If you wanted a slightly darker yellow, you could use mustard seed. Then I'm going to take my black chalk paste, on my squeegee and just go around the edges of my hexagon for a little more decorative interest. And that's all there is to it. I love adding this to my tiered tray house for summer. For DIY number 6, we're going to make a new mini rolling pin for our bee theme. Again, using yellow and black chalk paint, another stencil, and some black and white gingham ribbon. So the first thing I'm doing with this unfinished wood mini rolling pin is I'm going to paint the entire thing yellow with our Maze Waverly chalk paint. You can see I'm going to paint most of it and then set it in a glass jar to dry. Then we'll come paint the rest of it yellow. Once the yellow's all dry, I'm going to use some painter's tape to tape off either end, and I'm going to now paint the two ends black. I love using the painter's tape. It really does help you to just get the paint where you want it to go. Once that black is all painted, we'll remove the painter's tape from our mini rolling pin. And now we are ready to stencil. Now these words are a little curved on the stencil, but I'm going to do one word at a time. And I just wanted to add these to my rolling pin. So I'm just using the words sweet honey, and I'm going to do each word gently, one at a time, with my black chalk paste. And the final finishing touch, you guessed it, a black and white piece of gingham ribbon, just tied in a knot around one of the handles. And that's all we're going to need to finish off this adorable little rolling pin to add to our tiered tray house for our summer bee theme. If you love budget home decor DIY videos like this, please consider giving this video a thumbs up and leaving a comment. That lets YouTube know people are enjoying my content, and they will show it to more and more viewers. For DIY number 7, we're going to make something super easy. I'm just going to show you how you can take a block of wood, a scrap piece, whatever. We're going to paint it to match our theme of black and yellow. And then I'm just going to use a couple of our summer rolling pin words to add wording to this block. These are really easy to make to fill up a tiered tray. So I hope you'll use this idea. So once our entire block is painted and dry, I'm going to use the words summer, sunshine. These also work great on the mini rolling pins as well. And I'm going to stack them on top of each other, trying to get them centered. And then we'll use our daffodil chalk paste to stencil them onto our block. And for the final touch, we are going to tie the black and white gingham ribbon around the left side of our block. We're going to tie it in a knot and then also tie it into a small bow, making sure that we trim it so that it doesn't cover up any of our words. Then the final thing we'll add to this block is another one of the small yellow daisies that we used on the Faux Bookstack. DIY number 8 is going to be our beaded garland with a tag. I'm actually using a black and yellow beaded tag kit from Magnolia. Comes with all the beads, the twine, the tag. I'm going to use a mini bee stencil and some black chalk paint here. So we're going to paint our entire tag black. Then using all of the beads that came in the kit and the jute twine, I'm just going to string all those beads in an ABC pattern all the way down to the end of our string there. I will leave a small bit of string at the end so that we can tie the tassel on that we're going to make, as well as the tag. And if you can see, I did put a little piece of Scotch tape at the end. It does make it a lot easier to string those beads on. Now this is the rest of the twine. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep it in this shape that it came in, and I'm taking one little piece that I cut, and I'm going to tie the neck on our little tassel here, And then we're going to cut open all those loops at the bottom to make a super simple tassel. We're going to end up gluing this or tying it onto one end of our strand of beads here. So you can see I'm going to put it through that loop and then tie a knot. The end of the string is going to go back up through one or two of the closest beads, and then we will trim it to hide the end of the string. So there you can see I'm going back up through that black bead, and then I'm just going to snip that end and it hides under the beads there. Now on the other end, we're going to set this aside until we get our tag ready. I'm just going to use this bee from our bee minis, and we're just going to stencil this on with some white chalk paste. I love the black and white and yellow. It's so fun for summer. Once that's dry, we will tie the tag onto the other end of our strand of beads, tie a double knot, and then again we'll hide the end of our jute twine underneath the first couple of beads there. So we're tying, that's one knot, and we'll go around a second time. And this is the end of the string that has the tape on it, so it makes it even easier. Go back up through that natural bead, back up through that yellow one, and then we'll just snip that little piece, and our beaded garland with tag is done. I love adding these to my tiered tray house. If you are not already, I would love it if you would head over to Facebook and follow my Monarch Mom DIY Facebook page. I do go live there multiple times during the week with different projects than what I'm showing here on YouTube. And the last project for today are these bee stuffies. I am using one of these bee placemats from Dollar Tree. So it's already two layers. It's got the bees on the front and black on the back. I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut around 3 of the bees, and then we'll use our fabric glue and a little bit of polyfill just to make a few little bee stuffies that we can add into one of the compartments of our tiered tray. So once I have them cut apart, I'm going to keep the front and back together and just open them up a little bit, put some of my fabric hot glue from my Sure Bonder, and just glue a little section at a time. I'm working with 3 different bees here, so what you'll see I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little glue on this one, and then we'll set that one aside to dry while we move on to the next one. Now we can add a little bit of the polyfill to the section that's already glued shut. And as we fill with the polyfill, we'll then continue gluing our fabric bee shut until we get it all the way stuffed and all the way glued around. Thanks again so much for being here today. Please let me know in the comments what you thought of today's projects and if there's any that you plan on making for yourself. Thanks, and we'll see you next time. Take care.